You are listening to the Pencil and Paper Podcast Network.
Wake up to the world you've been missing. Time to jump out of bed in the morning. No day, no life, now we're living. Can you feel it in the air that you're breathing? Time to show 'em what you're made of. Let's get back on track. Are you ready for a come on? Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. Are you ready now? You're lifting off the ground. Welcome back. No coming down. Can you feel it all around? Welcome back.
Hello and welcome back to Super Mega Crash Beyond. I'm your host, Stephen White. With me, as always, is my co-host, Lacey Finley.
Oh, happy Monday.
So we've got a rant to go on today.
Yeah.
Boy, oh boy, because this is something I've been wanting to talk about for a while, and I don't think it's like news to anybody, but I just want to, vent about it, and
Sure.
just what I'm looking for in it now, because clickbait headlines are
I
just
tell you.
the worst, and they're getting
Yeah.
trickier. You know
They've
what I'm saying?
definitely have evolved since like the first couple.
Yeah.
When you were duped and had no idea, like, oh my God, really?
But what I will say too is that out of these clickbaity headlines, I notice a trend, and when I start to see the trends on what their verbiage is that they're using in their headlines to try and get you to click on it, I'm getting very aware, and I avoid them at all costs. Not only just because I know it's clickbait, but because I even get tired of, like, when I read the way they word shit. It just makes me angry. It's like, fuck you. Because the one thing, this is the one that I think irks me the most when I see it because I see it all the time now. It'll be, say it's about a TV show or a book or something like that, and it's like, writer such and such confirms what we all suspected about such and such. And it's like, fuck you.
Yeah.
We don't need you to validate this, okay? Either I watched it and I had an opinion, or I didn't, but you're going to come here and confirm whether or not that it's right, but you're going to take 3 pages to do it.
I was just going to say, and then sometimes they're not even addressing the thing that was in the headline. Yes. Or if they do, it's like the very last sentence.
Yeah.
That reiterated the same thing that you just read.
Mm-hmm.
So nothing new was learned that day, but they got to serve you 30,000 ads.
Yeah. And that, I think that's what irks me the most, is I'm very, very careful about what I click. I've even started, because I have a news feed that kind of comes from Google. So whatever headlines from things that I've been looking at, and then you can kind of pick and choose if you want to continue to see more of that stuff. Well, I kept getting fake trailers. It'd be like a new trailer for this movie, and it'd be like, no, it isn't.
What? Yeah.
And I would just, like, I knew better. Like, I would look at where the source came from, and I'd be like, fuck you, no.
Yeah.
And then I've gotten to a point where I'm trying to get them out of my feed because I don't want to see it.
Sure.
Don't feed me some garbage.
Yeah.
But even then, you still have these other, they're getting more clever, where they find a way to say just enough to get you intrigued, but it's not in a clickbaity way that you're like, okay, so you're not trying to spoil anything. And then you go into it and it's like, well, where's the information I'm looking for? And then, like you said, they don't necessarily give you an answer. They dance around it. Like, well, we're not 100% sure, but,
it's like some dude's creative writing class or something.
And I think that irks me even more, because don't lead me in here if you're not going to answer my question, because you didn't answer it. You danced all the fuck away around it. You mamboed on that motherfucker, because it was just, hey, here's all the facts of this thing that you need to know. Even though I clicked on this because I know what it is. I don't.
But they
need
wanted
a
to give you the
history
backstory in case you had no idea. Why did we come up to this thing? In case you didn't know in the thing prior.
Which is, why would you click on it to begin with? Like, if you don't know who, I'm gonna just pluck a random celebrity. If you don't know who the fuck Jake Paul is,
then you should count yourself thankful.
Yeah. Please, for the love of God, don't look that up.
Don't even look it up. Remain in ignorant bliss.
And then you read the headline, Jake Paul taking on the biggest fight of his life. Fighting but they don't tell you who.
Yeah.
So they're trying to lure you in.
Mm-hmm.
If I don't know who that is, I'm not
Why
going to
would I care? Yeah. Who do I care who he's fighting?
Yeah. I don't care. For a lot of reasons, I don't care.
Mm-hmm.
Even though I will say that I'm hoping that
I'm scared for this one. I'm scared. I'm just hoping Tyson's still on the top of his game, because I admit, if like he doesn't win, life is over for me. I understand nothing. But he's also in his 60s, so I'm like,
here's what I say. Mike Tyson has to look at this one of two ways.
It's gonna
you
be
either
a payday
beat the
way.
piss out of this kid,
Please,
or you lose to an influencer. And that's how you leave your mark. Not to a legit boxer. I know he's legitimate, whatever.
I
not to
mean,
me.
he hasn't been doing bad either, which also makes me a little upset, because I want to continue to hate the guy. But then when you're actually good at the thing, I'm like, ugh. And I have to admit you're good at the thing, but I still want you to lose.
I mean, I would just hope.
It might have already aired by the time this comes out too. So I don't
maybe,
know when was.
Or it's coming up. I feel like it's coming
Yeah.
up. I don't think it's happening just yet.
Okay,
I could be wrong.
but I am worried about it. I
It
really
shows-
want Tyson to win. I want him to win. I want him to win. I want him to win.
It just shows how much we care.
Right.
Point being, all I want to hear is Mike Tyson, Iron Mike, used his iron fist and clocked him out cold.
Mm-hmm.
Doubt it's
First
going to happen.
punch.
Doubt it's going to happen.
Yeah, I know.
But that's the headline I want to click on.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Well, I want to give you ad dollars. Let's
Tell me how well this fight went, and all these people who paid these pay-per-view.
But it's on Netflix.
Oh, it's going to be on Netflix?
Yeah. That's why I was
missed
like,
that.
really? Because I'd
Okay.
never heard of that one before. So if you already have Netflix, you can get it. But I'm sure that they're hoping it'll garner more subscriptions, because all of his other pay-per-view ones, it's a moneymaker, dude. They're making millions and millions each time he does one of these things. So I'm sure Netflix was like, yes, please.
I mean, think about it. How much did you have to pay for a pay-per-view fight? Like, legit?
I'm not
the
even
past?
sure. I think I've never done it. I've always gone to bars and they've always charged a cover when we would watch fights, like $10. But I think like 50
Yeah, that sounds about right.
ish.
So, if all it took was a Netflix subscription for a
which
month,
is cheaper.
yeah, you're paying half of what those tickets used to go for, plus you're getting a month of Netflix on top of that. That sounds like a win to me.
I'm sure that's hopefully what Netflix is hoping too, because you're going to come in because you want the fight, but now you've got it for a month.
Yeah, so
you're going to poke around. Hopefully you're going to fall in love with something and forget that you signed up for a month. And then now you're on 2 and 3. And yeah.
it's a shame that they have to
It's
continue
smart.
to jack up their prices. And the worst part about
Everything
it
is.
they'll never go back down. That's the
No.
worst part. They'll just
I've
keep
never
going
seen
up
prices
and up
get
and up.
cheaper on stuff.
Never.
Unless someone is just legit not buying it.
Yeah.
Because things are really only worth as much as people are going to give them money for. But there's always that group of people who keeps giving them the money for the thing that they shouldn't be giving them the money for. And then the rest of us are like, well, all right. But yeah.
But that's, we went on a tangent as we normally do.
Well, I mean, this is what clickbait headlines do. You go on a rant.
We do. So I was trying to find, because I wanted to find if there were any more of these clickbaity bullshit things that I don't like. Very much like what I said. Another one, and I feel like this doesn't really count as a clickbait, but it does entice you to click on it because you get curious. And I got mad at one yesterday because of this, because it sucked me in. It was like, the 25 best and worst sandwiches ever made. And I was like, okay, you know what? I love a good sandwich. I want to hear what you got to say. Now, what was their top sandwich? Cannot remember. Shit. Because it felt like
Was it like a club sandwich or a
No,
Reuben?
that was actually lower down on the list.
Really? Reubens
Because
are one of my favorites.
That was number 24 out of 25. I was so fucking angry.
That deserves like mid anyway, like 15, 14. Like I get sauerkraut's not for everybody, and that's
Sure.
usually the factor. But like I think middle of the way, there's enough of
They
us that
said
love it.
they said there's too much going on for the palate to enjoy. And I'm like, that's the best part. There's
You
so
got
many
sauerkraut
flavors.
and corned beef and Thousand Island is usually the dressing. I'm sure they're going to pretend it's something
Or
else. But
Russian.
it's like that. Or
Yeah.
Russian. Yeah. You know, some good rye bread. Oh my God. Mwah. Yeah. Screw you. That's less ingredients than a club.
That was actually something I was wanting to go get after I was reading about it. I was like, fuck that. I want to go get a Reuben. I'm going to go get everything for it. And just
Honestly,
make one at home.
I rarely have one that when I'm out somewhere and they have it, I do order it.
Usually,
My
yeah,
husband
same way.
hates sauerkraut. And I just like never have it because they don't sell them in small things.
They don't,
You know, it's
really.
always like the big can. I'm like, I'm not going to eat all that by myself.
Mhm.
I really wish you'd give me smaller cans. People who make sauerkraut, can we have smaller cans, please?
Please.
Us individuals who live with people who hate it would like to still have it from time to time.
I wish I could remember what that top sandwich was. I don't know why it's slipping my mind because number 2 was a grilled cheese. It's a
Okay.
classic, don't get me wrong.
It's a classic.
But is that a... I
See,
mean,
that goes up, I think.
and,
24.
peanut butter and jelly, I think, was number 4. Again, I understand these are
So you're just picking
classics.
classics ones out?
But yeah, I don't feel like if you
Like ham
gave
and
me
cheese?
the options
Was
to...
that number 1?
It could have been. I know, like I said, I remember a club being down on the list, and I was like, a club sandwich? Really? Okay. I mean, I think it's a great sandwich. You got
It really
turkey,
is.
you got bacon.
Lettuce, tomato,
tomato.
mayonnaise, extra bread, because you got to have that middle piece of bread. I guess that's what makes it the club.
Yeah.
That's what makes it official. And the toothpicks, and
And the
cutting
toothpicks.
fours.
That's right.
You got to do all that. But yeah, I think that's it. I feel like there was 2 kinds of meat and bacon, like maybe ham and something. I don't know.
Ham
But
and
it's
turkey
good.
and bacon.
Yeah, I
ham,
think you're
turkey,
right.
and bacon.
Ham, turkey, bacon.
That sounds right.
Mhm.
But
All the pig and 1 bird.
I don't know. Just look at and those. It's why I don't click on them because I know I'll get. Like I understand it's an opinion piece. It has to be an opinion piece because not everyone's going to agree, but they don't write it as such. They
Yeah.
write it as like, these are facts. These
Yeah.
are what these facts are. Here are the sandwiches you're going to either love or hate.
Joe,
And-
our man on the street who loves sandwiches since he was 5 years old, is
It's just so weird that I don't know. I feel like they need to be written as opinions, but I guess that's what gets the conversation going is people reading the garbage they're
and then
putting out
rage
there.
retweeting it because they're like, "Can you believe that?" Blah blah blah.
Because I would have if I was a retweeter or someone who liked the drama. I don't want to. I don't care. I'll read it and I'll get kind of here it is. Haha! I found it. Good.
Yay!
Let me dig it up. Hot dog was last.
That's not a sandwich, isn't that the debate?
Hot dog is a sandwich. Yeah.
I
don't know if I agree.
veto that as a sandwich.
All right. Yeah. This is why I couldn't remember because it's not something I've ever. I don't
Called
think
a
I've ever
sandwich?
had one of these. I know Katrina has talked about them ad nauseum before. A fluffernutter.
I feel like I have heard of that. Is it like marshmallow
And peanut butter.
And peanut butter? Yeah.
Yeah. That's it.
Yeah.
I don't
Okay.
see how that's a number 1, but whatever.
What kind of bread?
It doesn't say. It just
Really?
like
No, the
toast.
bread is like part of the ingredient. It's a different type. See? Okay. Nope.
toasted
Now
bread.
you got to tell me what bread you're using. So they don't even say on a Reuben what bread because it's very specific.
Well, let me go to the Reuben. 24. It says we have a classic Reuben. Here's what they say. If
Okay.
there were one word to describe a classic Reuben sandwich, it would be overwhelming. Don't agree. Delicious would be my word.
What's wrong with you?
While we all believe sandwiches should have a little bit of spark or something unique, rather than just meat plopped between 2 slices of bread, there's a threshold where the Reuben just becomes too much.
Then why'd you put it on your list?
For the uninitiated, because it's
Sounds
worst
like you
to
don't even
best or
like
something
Reubens.
like that. For the uninitiated, Reuben is sliced corned beef, Swiss cheese, sauerkraut, and Russian dressing, which we would describe as having Thousand Island dressing that had a really bad hangover. Okay.
It's just one's creamy and one's not. Come on.
Then here's where they lost me a little bit because I was like, well, I don't remember having my Reubens with this. And then, or maybe this is what they're talking about. It's in the dressing. Maybe that's what I missed. Okay.
Okay.
There's shallots, Worcestershire relish, often horseradish in the sauce. Okay. It says, so while there's a lot of very good flavors, every independent component is clawing its way to the top, muddling the others. I don't agree with that.
Hard disagree. Hard disagree. Look, I think they're delicious. And again, this is just in the eye of the beholder. If everybody liked the same thing, there'd only be a Reuben, right? That'd be the only sandwich there were. But you can't talk like it's not good just because you don't like it.
Yeah, just because you don't like it.
Right. And just admit it's not for you.
Yeah, that's the part of this that you have to... You can't do one of these lists as an opinion or as like...
Now, some people can F up a Reuben. I've had bad Reubens.
Sure.
I have had bad Reubens. But it is usually the people who try to like add way more stuff to it than a Reuben traditionally has. Mm-hmm. And that's when I'm like, okay, we had enough flavors going on. You didn't need to add all this other stuff. I gave it a shot, but not for me, see?
Exactly. Now, here's another that I don't even feel like should be on the list because I don't see how this classifies as a sandwich, very much like a hot dog. But I guess a hot dog is a sandwich.
I mean, I guess it is meat and bread. So I guess if that's the definition, then a hot dog is a sandwich.
Well, then
soup is cereal and cereal is soup and,
But then a fluffernutter wouldn't be a sandwich because it's not meat. Peanut butter and jelly wouldn't be a sandwich because it's not meat. And this, again, I don't see how it classifies as a sandwich, but I guess if peanut butter and jelly and everything else does, I guess it does too. Bagel and cream cheese. I would not immediately think sandwich. Because I feel
now, if you're putting lox and stuff on it, then maybe we're getting into sandwich territory. But yeah, that's just a bagel and cream cheese.
And do you ever eat them together?
I don't know.
I don't either.
I don't eat them like that. I'm usually only having half at a time, or usually just the half because that's usually filling enough. Yeah. Just the half of a bagel.
Like even if you do bagels and lox, you put it on one side of the bagel, and that's it.
Yeah, so I personally never sandwiched it that I can recall.
Sure.
But, okay, yeah, see, now you're just getting a little loosey-goosey with what sandwiches. I don't know, siblings. Am I silly? Maybe we call these things, it could be, is it a geographical thing? Because I know even in the States, we call certain things different depending on where you are, even though it's the same thing because English is just awesome that way.
Yeah.
But... Interesting. All right.
So, yeah, I just wanted to bring that up because that was one that listicles
so maybe it's just 2 pieces of bread is all he requires it to be a sandwich, at least. Because so far, at least I'm hearing carbs.
Yeah.
On all of them.
I mean, bread has to be a factor in a sandwich. That is
something
fact.
In between a type of bread. There we go. Because, okay. Well,
and
I would not have called it a sandwich. See, this is them reaching for 25 things when they could have just said 10.
And why a hot dog? Why was the hot dog? There's so many other sandwiches in the world. That's your bottom tier sandwich.
I feel like he's got to be a sports dude from the States through and through. Because like we're the only ones, to my knowledge, that like really eats that garbage. Because hot dogs aren't good. Okay, for me, I do not care for a hot dog. I can remember as a kid, I used to like the ones that had the cheese in it. Mm-hmm. But that's it. Outside of that, I think it's just because none of us really know what's in there.
Yeah, that's fair.
And yeah.
Hey, I'll admit I can be a bit of a snob when it comes to my hot dogs because for whatever reason, my dad loves the hot dogs that are just like bright pink or whatever. I don't know what the hell they're made with. I don't know what they are, but those are like his go-to hot dogs every time. Okay. I would rather have something that is made with meat that I know.
Are you more of like a brat guy?
I love brats. Brats are like if I could have a brat over a hot dog, absolutely.
Like a nice grilled brat where it like just popped.
Yeah.
Because it was just got the nice, Now those I can sometimes do if it's been on the grill like that and like it's been overcooked, I guess just enough where they're kind of popping. Something about that. I don't want to call it caramelization, but like the crispness factor that it gives you, the different textures, that I don't mind.
But then the flavor with like you get the sauerkraut, you get the onions, you get the mustard, spicy brown, or maybe some something like that. It's just so good.
And I should like them more because Chicago is big on their hot dogs.
Yeah, they are.
They're serious business,
I know that people ridicule them for some of the shit they put on their hot dogs.
Yeah, you're not allowed to do ketchup. There's one place that's called the Wiener Circle here, and I'm sure most people have heard of it because it's like the place where they insult you. if you're like asking for anything. Like they're just mean about everything.
Okay.
You know, so my niece wanted to go there really badly when she came to visit. So we went down there and I remembered her asking for ketchup and just like, she's like, what? That ain't even a condiment that we're talking about here. What, you coming all the way here from where'd you say you're from again to get fine. You can walk across the street to the McDonald's and get you a ketchup packet. Now, when you go across the street to McDonald's, they're charging 50 cents for the ketchup packet. So apparently enough people were doing that they're no longer giving out free ketchup. And I'm like, aw. But yes, it's onions and mustard basically. And like relish is sometimes allowed. But for the most part, it's just that I see people do. And I'm like, well, all right, you know.
But that's more of that gatekeeping bullshit about what you put on your hot dogs. I feel like if you want to put whatever you want in your hot dogs, you do that. Because
you're the one eating it. Yeah.
Yeah. So sometimes I'm in a mood. I want the sauerkraut. I want the mustard. I want it simple. I want it like that. Sometimes I want the relish and the ketchup and like.
You just want a punch in the face.
Yeah. Onions. Throw that stuff on there.
Yeah. I don't want anyone to talk to me the rest of the night. Give it up. Yeah.
I like to have my hot dogs with a little variety. If it gets down to that, and like you said, we don't eat them very often, but you know, when it comes around, just depends. What am I in the mood for? What would I prefer today?
Yeah.
You know, and eat them however you want. I think that's the beauty of them.
Yeah. No, I think it's just like a touristy attraction thing at this point, you know. They are very lovely people, but it is funny when they start yelling. I'm like, I can't handle it, you know. But then they thought my baby niece was adorable because she was still very, very little, like 1.5, 2. So they took pictures with her. And I'm like, see, they could be nice.
So do you have a clickbait headline that irks you anytime you see it, like something worded a specific way?
I mean, I don't know if I can think of like one example specifically, but I mean, to me, it's kind of those same ones where it's just very manipulative. Like they used maybe a couple of buzzwords from something that is really popular that's going on right now. Like, you won't believe what so-and-so has been doing since whatever movie you love, you know? And you're like, what? And then you click it open and it's just like other auditions they've gone on, you know? And it's just like, okay, you made it sound like this person was going on some like, I don't know, what's the Flash actor's name? Like one of their rampages. And yet I'm reading the most wholesome thing ever. You know, like I wanted to read some garbage gossip and instead you gave me nothing. You know, it's really, if I'm clicking on it and the substance is like nothing that you are leading me to believe, then that's when I get angry. Or like we said, my biggest pet peeve is the one where the entire article is no new information. It's just a rewording of making that one sentence into 2 paragraphs somehow. And then at the very bottom, adding the one thing that you clicked in for.
Sure.
It's like, I equate it to like when I'm trying to look for a recipe online. For some reason, all these people think we need to be waterboarded with how they love the recipe and where it came from and how many times they've made it with their kids and their grandma and their blah, blah, blah. And then all the way down at the bottom is the recipe. Yeah. It's like, I wonder how many people have been crying for help in recipes and we have no idea because we've just been skipping it this whole time. But that bothers me. And so if you're the type that puts a jump to recipe button at the top, mwah, I love you. I don't care about your life. I just want to make the pizza.
Yeah.
I mean, if that sounds rude or not, I know but it's to keep you on the site longer because they need to sell you ads. That's the thing. It's like all of these people are very ad driven. So these clickbait titles, when was the last time you clicked in one that there just wasn't shit flashing everywhere? Or in the middle of an article, there's an ad now that's like rolling behind the article and then it picks back up. It's like the internet is almost unusable without an ad blocker.
Yeah.
Like if you're watching a video on any news source and you're going like 3 to 5 seconds and then it's an ad and then it's an ad and then it's like, I can't even watch your video. Like we've made it to where the internet's not even really usable. I can't even read the thing I want to read because now you got this pop-up video that just happened that I've got to try to find the teensy tiny little X to get out from the middle of my screen, or it's come into the middle while I have something flashing up here. And there's just so much stuff wanting my eyes that no wonder people can't focus anymore. Like, no wonder we don't have attention spans. Like, you guys have just been trying to grab it from us all this time. And, like, I think that's why we have such shorter fuses for this shit now, too. It's just like, you've been doing this to me for too long. And I literally just want to see the information.
Yeah, it's all. I don't need anything else.
I don't need you to manipulate me or waste my time or like that just goes to show you we're just money symbols where they just need our clicks.
Yeah.
It may not even be about the thing that they said it was supposed to be.
Well, like based on what you said about the recipe thing, I've encountered that so many times. But you know what? If you just give me the recipe and you want to have your blog down below it, if I like what you did and I enjoyed the recipe and it came out really amazing, maybe I'll come back to you and maybe I'll want to get to know about you.
Right.
Don't shove it down my throat right now. Give me what I'm searching for.
Right.
And then if I like you, if I like your work, I'll come back.
Yeah.
But yeah, just that long page is like
it's so long. Like sometimes it's like I feel like I'm scrolling forever and I'm just like, come on, man. And then I get too over eager and then like pull it all the way down and now I'm in the comment section. I'm like, God damn it, I just want the recipe. You know, like now I don't even want to make it anymore. Yeah, that those are obnoxious. But that's why now I just kind of go to YouTube.
True, yeah.
I mean, sometimes they have the recipe just posted in the description. Done. And then if I just legit don't know how to do a thing, there's them doing it for me in a video. And I can just watch it real fast and go back. So I know I shouldn't say that because I do miss people writing all the things down, especially when it comes to like gaming walkthroughs. My God, I miss you people who used to write out the walkthroughs. I really hate this video walkthrough. I don't want to listen to you for however long it takes for me to get to the part that I wanted. You know, like I just want to read it and skim to where I'm at and go, you long lost heroes. I'm sorry that we took you for granted and we didn't show you enough appreciation. And I really am sorry. You deserved more than you got from us.
There are a few out there. Power Picks, I think, is one that I enjoy the most because anytime they have video tutorials, like if you're trying to figure something out and you can't do it, you can find a video from them most of the time. I won't say all the time, but most of the time. And it's everything
Just
you
that
want.
Section.
There's no talking. There's no nothing. It's like, here's the video. Here's how you do it. Boom, boom, boom. Done.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, thank you. That's all I needed. I needed nothing more.
Yeah.
You know?
Because like, and then you're running into spoiler territory too. Because what if you played it in a different order or something like that? You know, I don't know. Steam sometimes still does it. We still have some good people that will put their walkthroughs up on Steam every once in a while. So you people, I try to give you thumbs up and whatever you think you might need to make you happy. I don't know. Because I'm like, thank you so much.
Yeah.
I broke it into chapters so I don't have to read all of the extra stuff if I don't want to. But yeah, recipe people, what can we do here? I know, they just need you to see all the ads. I guarantee you that's why it's turned into a freaking blog. It's they need you to see the ads so they can get paid a little bit for probably a recipe they ripped off of somebody else.
Yeah, no.
I just don't believe all these people are just coming up with all these. Oh, maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. It's like you took an old recipe, put one extra thing new in it, and now it's yours, I guess. And I guess that's just how life is, right? Like you made it your own.
If I can find one that sounds good, but maybe needs some adjustments to adjust to my palate, and I think that's the beauty of it too. Yeah, is because what recipe? It's kind of what we were talking about before. You know, what tastes. You know, who likes what. I mean, the recipe you might see 4.8 star ratings, and there was like all these people loved it except for this one guy.
And it's usually because they didn't follow the recipe. That's what I always think's hilarious. They're like, man, they said to use whole milk, but I used almond milk. And then instead of all of the salt, I used this. And instead of that, I did this. And it was awful. 1 star. Well, you just made something else entirely there, person. Yeah. No wonder you didn't like it. I mean, you may not have liked the original one, but you did not make the recipe.
And, you know, I mean, we've made recipes before where something just seems like we're eating it and it's like it's good, but
if we
it's
had
like it needs something. We don't know what it needs, but it just feels like it needs something to punch it up. So if it was good enough, we'll try it again and maybe try to find something to punch it up.
That's what's nice with cooking. It's a little bit more free that way. You know, add what you want. But
I do. I love kind of.
I like to cook,
experimenting here and there, trying different things out where I can. I don't know. It's fun.
No, I love it. It's therapeutic also for me. Like I love making bread. It's really not that hard and you get to play with the dough. Maybe that's why I like pottery too. I just love playing in mud. You know, like there's just something tactile where I get to like mess with something and mush it around and make it into something. I don't know. It's very relaxing to me. Get some good music going and I just get into it and
Go time travel and find you as a kid and you're just sitting there digging in mud.
I really did play a lot in sandboxes and in mud and with no shoes on. I would just go like mud sliding. No wonder I always got shit stuck in my foot and had to like get like glass taken out or a nail or something. So I'm just like in mud. Clearly there's not going to be anything bad in this lawn where it rained yesterday, you know.
I think another headline that irks me, and I understand that not everybody is me. So I have to try to keep that into perspective when I see these headlines, but it will be something like things that you never knew about this thing.
Mm-hmm.
And when I'm looking at it, I'm like, well, I know everything there is to know about that thing. So I guarantee you the 25 facts that you have, I know. But again, that's me.
Okay. Well, here's a good one then, or I think, when they're like, blah, blah, blah's ending explained. And then I'll be like,
God,
I didn't know there was something for me to miss. I thought I understood what was going on. And then I feel like I get suckered in because like, was I just not smart enough to pick up on something or did I miss something? And then half the time it's literally just the movie back to you in pieces. Yeah. And I'm like, aw, you wasted my time, you know? So those ones really get me with the ending explained because you see those all the time. And it just gets me to wonder, like, how many people just are not understand. Some may be hard, but when you're like, Marvel's Avengers explain, like, what do you need to explain? Like, people went pew pew, they killed each other, this happened. Like, what was the problem? Like, I didn't even see all the movies and I figured out what was going on in here, you know?
Yeah.
So, but I always feel like some reason sometimes they get me and it pisses me off still to this day. Cause I'm like, what if they do find that one thing I didn't catch and it's interesting, but they never do.
See, I fell into one the other day and I wish to God I could remember what it was, but it was about, I think it was a show that just recently ended. Mm-hmm. Or miniseries, something like that. And it was we asked the author of such and such about the ending and confirmed. And I was like, and I thought about it before I clicked on it. I was like, well, I felt like it was pretty cut and dry. Mm-hmm. I don't know what I missed. So click.
Yeah.
I was curious.
Yeah.
And then I read it and it was everything that I already thought. It was like, fuck you stupid headline.
Of like, even though we know it, it's like I still, for some reason, what if this is the one that has that information that I might find interesting in? And it's like, haven't I learned my lesson?
Yeah,
it's not, you know. Or if it was that interesting, you might have given us a nugget already, like early on, to like make me think it's legit or something. I don't know, but yeah, when you manipulate me like that, and then it's just a waste of time. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Get on my nerves more than anything. I mean, all of this is a waste of time if you think about it, because as I said, most of it is just filler for the one line that you're looking for. And even then, you got others. I mean, it's so many are opinion pieces. When it comes to those damn lists, it's always 50 things of this and 20 of that and 10 best worst, whatever.
And I don't mind top lists, honestly, in some things. Like, I don't mind it all, but always, I guess, maybe.
Yeah, just don't write it as a fact. I think how they
my
word
10
the shit.
thoughts on this.
Yeah, here's what I think. Like, for example, here's a website that I'll frequent every now and again. Sport. Mm-hmm. That's it's like a food review website that kind of spun off from Mythical, and so. They pretty much do a lot of lists like that where they're like, you know, some of our favorite chips that we found, or favorite drinks or beers or just anything you can think of. They probably got a list for it. And what they will say is they'll kind of give you a breakdown of what they ate. Here, you know, show you these are the top 5 things that we chose, and we'll kind of go down the list. And they'll give you their opinions. Whoever's writing it, it's like, this is how I felt about this. We think that it's got this going for it, that going for it. So it makes you hear their opinion on it. Mm-hmm. But it's never like, well, this is just garbage because of this, this, and this. Even though somebody else out there may actually think that that's absolutely just delicious and the best thing ever. So now you're shitting on their food. But I don't feel they do that. They just say, for us, it's not hitting the same way. It's missing something.
I appreciate that. Exactly. Yeah. Because I mean, everybody's tastes are different.
Yeah.
Yeah, that it does bother me when it's like, I believe this and now it's a fact. It's like, why do you think you're so special that just because you thought it's a fact, but we have that problem with a lot of different aspects in life with people. But yeah, just say, and if you like that chef, you might take it a little bit more to heart because, well, the stuff I've made from them, I've liked so far. Why wouldn't I just try this one then,
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, it's kind of like I've had conversations with people about food before, and I notice anytime I ask the age-old question, ranch or blue cheese,
Yeah.
90% of people always say ranch.
I'm
And I
one of
get it.
those basic bitches too.
But I
like
get it.
ranch. I don't like blue cheese.
I get it. And I'm a blue cheese guy. I'll go to blue cheese any day of the week. But I understand that not everybody digs the flavor.
It's very strong.
Yeah, it can be a lot. So for me, it's just magic in my mouth, especially when you mix it with the right stuff. I love it.
Some people just adore stinky cheeses and it's just great. And it's really hard to get on board.
We had that conversation the other day, Katrina and I, and something occurred to me. Okay.
Does she like blue cheese?
She does not. So
okay.
Blue cheese is all mine.
All yours. Got it.
I genuinely don't have to share it with anybody, so that's a positive thing in my life. I can have it all to myself.
All to myself. Yeah, I guess there's one good thing about liking something other people don't.
But we were talking about stinky cheeses, and do you remember, because I felt like this was something we used to see all the time in these old movies back in the 30s and 40s, and maybe even prior to that, I don't remember, but Limburger cheese.
Oh, yeah.
And it was supposed to be this god-awful stank cheese.
Uh-huh.
And I started thinking, I was like, do they even sell that anymore? I have not found it anywhere.
I don't know that I've ever actively looked for it.
I haven't either, but it just occurred to me the other day. I was like, do they still sell Limburger cheese?
Looks like Wisconsin's got you covered.
Yeah, of course they would.
Yeah, the land of cheese.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, right here, Limburger cheese, $7.50. $7.50. Looks like
It's
your
not bad.
regular, like 8 ounces.
Okay.
Yeah.
And look.
Soft surface ripened cheese, world renowned for being one of the most pungent cheeses in existence.
And it might be god-awful if I tried it. Might want to try it
I don't
out.
know if I have.
I'm curious, to say
Well,
the
they
least.
ship. There you go. I can send you a link for this. And in Wisconsin, they do know their cheese. I'll give them that. Their cheese is delicious. So if you're going to try a Limburger from somewhere,
Might
I
as
feel
well
like
be
Wisconsin might be the place. Yeah.
Like we tried, because our Kroger now, they have like a big cheese section. Like they've expanded the store. Now they've got this big area where there's like any cheese you can
International
think
cheeses.
of. Yeah. And one day we were trying to find some, fancier cheeses, and we want to do a little something like that. And I found like this Irish cheddar. And I thought, okay, sounds interesting. Got it home, took a bite, and I was like, like
Sounds
it was just
rich, is it not?
It was. Oh,
Yeah.
God. It was just like,
I feel like Irish foods, they're very rich, filling. Yeah.
like I had to take a second and I was like, I don't know if I can eat that. But I found a way. Like
Something to think of.
kind of mix it in with some stuff, kind of because it felt like on its own, that was what was just too pungent. It was like, oh my God.
Yeah.
But when you can find something to kind of mix it in with, so those flavors are not just in your face, but they're kind of subtle within the dish.
What do you think, like a chili maybe?
See, I thought about, did I do it with a chili? I did it with something like, it might have been a chili. Matter of
That
fact.
sounds good. I like to do cheese
Yeah.
and sour cream in my chili.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's good. So I felt like it was something that just, it needed to go with something. It needed to be part of a dish. Like that Irish mac and cheese that I remember Dave had sent us a recipe for.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
I haven't tried it yet, but I haven't.
haven't either. That would be a good cheese to grab for it, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe kind of mix it
Probably.
in a little bit and kind of with all that. We will make it, Dave, and we'll get back to you on.
We should. I need to look it up and see what all's in it again. Maybe we should do that with like our food episode or something. The one we keep talking about, we'll do, and then
we're going to do that eventually.
Eventually, yeah.
No, I saved it, and I was like, I'm going to come back to this. I'm gonna make
I
it.
feel like
one
there
day.
was one ingredient in it though. I went bleh for myself. I'd have to look at it again.
Yeah, there. I can't remember what it was either,
There was
but
one thing where I was like, that wouldn't be for me. I would try to omit it or add something else into it, but I can't remember what it was now. So damn it.
but we will make it. I do want to try it because it did sound very delicious. minus maybe whatever that other one ingredient was. Because I
Yeah.
felt like I did see one too where I was like, I could do without that. But everything else, no, I'm good.
I'm curious now if it was the same one.
It had to have been.
Here we go. We
Oh,
found it.
found
Let's see. Irishman's mac and cheese. Let me open the link back up here. Skip to recipe. Love you, Half Baked Harvest.
Mhm.
Maybe it was the kale. 1 bunch kale, 2 tablespoons olive oil, salt, pesto basil. I can say it. Lemon.
It might have been the kale.
Hold on. Bacon, butter, flour, beer, milk, Irish white cheddar cheese, sharp Irish white cheddar cheese, Havarti,
How about that?
kale, mustard powder, cayenne pepper, crushed potato chips. It had to be the kale then. 'Cause,
Had to
like
have
I'm
been the
looking
kale.
at this and I'm like, everything else sounds delicious. I just don't care for kale. I've tried it mixed in things. I've tried it baked. I've tried those stupid chips, which is basically just drying out a leaf.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm like, it's a conduit for salt at that point, you know. I just can't get on board with kale. It's the
understandable.
aftertaste for me, but I think this would be delicious with like spinach. I bet I could do with spinach, or just not even put it in.
Yeah.
And it
Either
would
way.
be good. But I would probably try it with spinach myself.
Okay, I'm gonna have to try. We're gonna have to make that.
We're gonna
I'm
have
gonna
to. Yeah, I
try
just
to
went
get-
to the store yesterday, so it's gonna have to be a beat. I've got most of it actually here, except
It
for
would
a
have
stout.
been perfect today, if you know what I mean.
It really would have been.
Don't
I
read too much
forget
into
about
that,
it all
people.
the time. Yeah.
Anyway,
Anyway.
goddamn, I'm trying to think of some others.
Yeah,
The-
I mean, it's like hard to think of them specifically. I just know like the ones that have evoked that, you know.
like you just feel like you have to
Feeling.
click it or something like that.
Yeah. And then to be lied to. There's a lot of those too, where it was like, it was all just one big fat lie to get you to click it. And like, that never happened.
yeah.
Or, it, you know, never had, it's like, wow, you know, it's just rage bait content.
I think
Um,
the ones that I've another one that has been targeting me lately because they know what I like, and
Ah,
that's you know
stupid
how our
algorithms.
phones work. Funny enough, as I was looking, I said I was looking at that list yesterday about the sandwiches, and I was home alone, mind you, when I read this, when I found this list, and I looked at it, and I vocally said, "Reuben's 24. Those are fucking delicious." And I
Right?
just
Okay.
said
I
like
probably
that.
would have did that too.
Probably muttered a few other things after that,
Mm-hmm.
and I was just like, whatever, and put my phone down. Well, of course, this morning in my news feed, best Reubens you can buy, and I was like, you son of a bitch. You listen to
sneaky
me,
bitch.
you son of a bitch.
Well, they are paying attention to that, you know?
Mhm.
You know?
But one that I know better, especially now, is since Godzilla Minus One has ended its theatrical run. The biggest question, when is it going to be streaming? When is it going to be available? And of course, I see this headline now. It's like, physical release date confirmed. And I was like,
But they didn't give you the date, did they?
in Japan?
Oh, see?
Yeah.
Was it a Japanese website? I bet it wasn't.
No.
I bet
no.
it wasn't. Yeah.
It was like, it's coming out in Japan on May 1st. We still don't know when it's coming stateside. It was like, well, you wasted my time, you asshole.
Yep.
So
You did not deliver what was promised.
I was hoping to hear something. I should have known
Yeah.
that it wasn't going to
But
be
I
what I
mean,
wanted
for
to hear.
something like that, I think I would have also. Because it would never have occurred to me you were just not going to give me the date.
Yeah.
Or like advertising it to the wrong country.
Because even in the headline, you could say Japanese release date confirmed.
Yes.
But you didn't.
But they needed your money.
yeah.
Or
You
your
just said
click.
physical release date confirmed. That's all you said. So
Yeah,
you just
those piss me off too.
Mhm.
Yeah. Like, yeah. Bait and switch is what it feels like. Like, I didn't ask for that. If I lived in Japan, I'd be ecstatic right now, but I don't, you know? And I don't have a VPN. I guess I should. Everyone makes it sound like it's so easy, and I guess I just don't completely understand what a VPN is.
Right.
then. Like, I keep thinking it was like some box I need to buy or something, but everyone's like, yeah, you just download it. I'm like, I don't
It
think I
does-
understand.
It does feel like that. I'll agree. I hear them talk about it all the time. It's like, it's very simple. You just activate it and everything goes to the VPN and you're opening it up and it's like, okay, it sounds simple, but
And you could tell
What
I
am I-
clearly not looked more into it. Where
yeah.
I was like,
It's just like, what am I missing here?
it's like every YouTuber is selling me on a NordVPN, you know? It's so
Mhm.
easy. And I'm like, I don't want a box. You don't need a box. You download it. I'm like, I clearly don't understand what it is. And I guess I like to live in that ignorant bliss because I've not really bothered to look into it. The only reason why I was really looking into it the other day, or I considered it, was because the Pottery Throwdown Canada, for some reason, I can't watch it here. They're only showing it in Canada. I'm like, why though? Like on something called CBC Canada. And I'm like, okay, but why don't I get to, how come I can watch the UK one?
Yeah,
I don't get it.
sense.
And I saw Seth Rogen's on it, and I don't know why.
Is he Canadian?
I mean, I think he's Canadian, but that's it? Like, does he do anything artsy? Is he there for comedic relief? Like, I mean, I know in the UK one, the one chick, I think she was a comedian actor, because I've seen her in other shows. Have you ever seen Extraordinary on Hulu?
Title sounds familiar, but
I feel like I told you about it. It's where like everybody gets a superpower by the time they're at least 25, but there's this one woman who didn't yet. Her mom was that she was on the Pottery Throwdown. So I only knew her from Pottery Throwdown, but then when I saw her in here, I'm like, oh, so she's like a legit comedic actor over there or whatever. But I'm allowed to watch it. Mm-hmm. Why can't HBO show me the Canadian version? Why do I need to get a VPN? You know, like that's where I'm just like, why do I got to learn this?
That was actually, you said CBC Canada?
Yeah.
That was actually one of the channels that I found on my satellite dish when I was a teenager. Like
so you could watch Schitt's Creek a little early.
Well, it wasn't airing at that time. Oh. The only reason I think I even went to it is they were showing sitcoms from us. So you could find like blocks of The Simpsons and The Fresh Prince and some other stuff.
Oh, funny.
So
yeah.
I was like, all right, it's just another place to watch TV. And then you'd get these little interstitials for Canadian products and news stations. And I'm like, I don't know what's happening. But
that's fine. Yeah, whatever.
Cool. Seems pretty cool up there.
I guess I'll look for it because I do want to watch it. And I'm just like, what the hell, man? What the hell?
Oh, here's another one. Here's another one of these stupid, because I'm trying to find headlines to see if there would be one that would stand out. It would be so-and-so didn't know blank, and then this happened. And then I don't feel like I click on those very often, because when I look at it, I was like, what kind of drama are you stirring up?
Yeah. Like a lot of like YouTube documentary-esque type ones where I'm just like, where did you get the info though? Like I want to trust you, but I can't trust a lot of people anymore.
Sure.
So how did you, Mr. YouTuber, get more information than the news? I don't know.
There's a lot of things about these.
But I don't think for some reason that's correct. But I don't know all the things. Maybe Mr. YouTuber was friends with person and that's why they got it. I don't know. But
well, even going back to like the YouTube videos that I had to, I started blocking that I would always continue to get from these certain ones. It would always be these elaborate YouTube videos. That's another thing that they would do too. It was like, we got the scoop on this, and it's like, this is going to be explained, exclusive, whatever. Mm-hmm. And then one time, I was like, all right, let me hear what you got.
Let's see. Yeah.
And it was like a video version of this same bullshit. He would circle around. It's like, oh yeah, we got this news about... I'll make some shit up. We got news about Godzilla versus Kong, and it's coming out, and we're just, it's coming out on this date and everything, and this is what we know so far. This person's going to be in, this person's going to be in, so, and, and then we finally found out. And then they go into whatever their exclusive is, and it's some rumor they heard.
Yeah.
It's like, well, then just keep this with a grain of salt, because, I mean, from what we know.
I didn't click on this for a grain of salt. I clicked on this for facts.
But they're just like, but just understand that based on all the information we know, this very well could happen. It's like, but you don't know. You were speculating at this point, dude. You don't know. So you were building up hype for some shit that might not happen.
Yeah. Maybe he's got anxiety too.
Whatever it is.
We do like to prepare for situations that'll probably never happen, but it could. Or ones that are just like overused, I think is another one that really gets me too. Over and over and over, each news source or whatever, it's like has the same article.
Yeah.
And it's almost like verbatim the same article. So it makes me wonder if there's just like this group of people who just like sells the same article to a bunch of different sites. And it's okay. Cause like, why am I able to read it like the exact same thing on a completely different site, And there's just a sheer volume of those, I think. are
Or
a lot
just
too.
even what they'll do here now, I've noticed to get even headlines is that they'll start scouring podcasts, interviews, and things like that. And then if they hear some little details, they're like, we can make that into a story because this actor said this about that. Like I think recently, I'm trying to think of one that I remember seeing recently because the only way I've even picked up on it is if I've actually listened to the podcast and then 2 or 3 days later, just like, you'll never guess what so-and-so said about blank.
Yeah.
And I think it was, what did it have to do with? I think it was Nicholas Hoult on Michael Rosenbaum's podcast. Michael Rosenbaum used to play Lex Luthor on Smallville, and now Nicholas Hoult is going to be playing Lex Luthor in this new Superman film. Mm-hmm. So it was just the questions about like, how does it feel about this? How does it feel about that? Both doing the same role. How do you approach it? That's pretty much what the conversation was. But then, of course, the headlines like, Michael Rosenbaum spills the beans on Lex Luthor and, Nicholas Hoult, how he feels about taking on this iconic role. And I don't know, just how they
trying to make it sound like there was some beef there.
Yeah,
it was just like they were just having a conversation.
Yeah, nothing. If they didn't want you to hear it, they wouldn't have put it out there. But now you're taking away from their views, as far as I'm concerned, because now you're condensing this conversation between two people.
And out of context to make your headline.
Yeah. I think there was even one about, from Supernatural. She was the girlfriend that died in the first episode on the roof in the burn.
Oh, shoot. I don't remember her real name, though.
Palicki, or something like that. You know who I'm talking about, though.
Are you talking about the actress or the actor who dated her?
The actress. The actress.
Oh, okay. I don't remember her name. I could probably find it really quickly, though.
I feel like that's right. Adrian Palicki.
Well, his name is Jared Padalecki. That
she
was
had
the
a very
boyfriend.
similar, but not.
But that was that's his real name, though, not his character name. His name is Jared Padalecki. Let's see. Supernatural. Oh my gosh. It's probably going to be so long ago that IMDb is like, which one?
Palicki. Palicki.
Interesting. Okay.
Anyway, she was also on that podcast, and then I think she had made a comment about another show. Well, she was on the Orville. And
okay.
He asked her about that. He's like, how's that going? She gave a very honest answer. She's like, I personally am not going to be going back. If they do another season, she's like, I feel like my time is done there. I don't. She gave a lot of reasons, but then of course you're listening to it and you're like, well, I can understand where you're coming from, because you're filming something. I guess it changed once it went to Hulu, so it wasn't the same as like it was over on Fox. So production changed in a very big way. Wasn't the show she signed up for in that way, I guess, and I guess it was just very taxing on her. So she just really doesn't want to go through that again. And it's understandable.
Not every role's going to be, ones you love. I don't know.
But you go into the clickbait world and they try to turn this into like it's some big beef and drama with, the producers and Seth MacFarlane or some shit when she didn't say anything negative. It was just like, I personally just don't want to do it anymore. If they do another season, I wish them well, but I don't think I will be coming back.
Yeah. But that's the world we're in, man. People will say a bunch of shit just so they can get that one little 5-second clip. And then by the time it's already circulated, everyone already believes that was the context. So then nobody's going to go back to watch the whole thing to see what it was. Here's a good example that was recently, and maybe, I don't know if this was like a well-known thing or I'm terminally on YouTube. I've heard of this guy. I know he's a Twitch streamer and I've seen some of his clips and stuff, but I've never watched his actual stream. I think his name's Hassan Piker. He does political stuff. He had said something about streaming being a hard job or whatever. And I kept seeing all these headlines about Hassan Piker says it's the hardest job in the world, complains about how hard streaming is. And Hassan Piker said streaming's harder than a regular job, And I'm like, well, what? So I actually took the time to go watch the whole thing. And what he actually said was that it was more socially taxing than any real job that he's had, because you're sitting there for 8 hours talking to yourself completely nonstop, that my social battery is drained. So when I'm done streaming, I don't really feel like going out and doing a social hour with friends. I'm tapped. He's like, it was different than doing physical labor. You know, that's a different kind of, you know, he never said it was the hardest job in the world. He never even alluded to that sort of thing. I mean, he kept going on about how hard it was or whatever, but in that context.
Yeah.
So by the time everyone else picked it up and like now they're making their own videos on it and everything, like, you all are making videos about a thing that didn't happen. He never said it was the hardest job in the world. And you're making me defend him because I'm not even like really a fan of like his views on stuff. But now I'm defending it because I'm like, that's not what he said. And then the few times that I've streamed, yes, it was really hard for me to go serve tables afterwards because I just got done talking for 5 hours straight. I didn't really feel like striking up these conversations and stuff anymore. My social battery was tapped. So I understood what he meant, but my God. Like just seeing the volume of people who were making videos, creating headlines, all this kind of stuff, saying that he said it was the hardest job in the world, where I'm just like, oh my God, guys, that's not what he said.
No.
You're making me look up an entire video so I can get the actual context. Because in my head, I'm going, there's no way he said this was the hardest job in the world. There's just not. Even as outrageous as he likes to be, there's just that. No,
yeah,
but every time
ridiculous.
you read anything about it right now, he said it was the hardest job in the world. And then people giving you like these bullet points on why he was wrong and making fun of him and all this kind of stuff. And I'm like, he's giving you plenty of other reasons to make fun of him, guys. Why is this the one you're pulling on right now? You know what I mean? Like there's plenty of other reasons to make articles about Hassan. But yeah, so there's a good one. That one made me so angry. I don't know why.
No, but I mean, you can relate. You understand what he's talking about. I mean, better than anybody, honestly. I mean, at least
other
between the two
streamers
of
should have
us.
known that too, instead of taking that headline and trying to make it a thing also. You know what I mean? So it's like even other streamers didn't even bother to watch the whole thing, you know?
Yeah, that's the difference. You took the time to actually look at it, listen to it, and judge for yourself instead of reading a headline and just running with that like everybody else does.
Or that 5-second clip where he said it was hard. Streaming was a hard job. And then that's it. Then they stopped putting any more context into it. But yes, I am that type of person. Some things may get by me, but I do try to do a little extra diligence in things that I hear because I'm just very aware that we're in that type of world that loves to farm my rage or all that kind of stuff. So I try. I'm sure there's no way I could be perfect because I'm learning this stuff along with everybody else, you know, as it's happening. But I guarantee if you got pissed off by a 5-second clip, you need to go find the whole thing because I can almost with 100% certainty you're not getting the context and you're getting mad at a thing that didn't actually happen.
Sure.
And this is with anything. Anything. So if I see a video that's a little clip that says something outrageous, that's when I always go to try to find the full thing because I guarantee you something sensible happened before or after that statement. That gave it context. Yeah. It's usually never what you're getting mad about.
Yeah. I don't really know if I've got too much more to say about this. I mean, it's just been a bitch fest for a good
right.
solid
And
hour.
we knew it's just be like complaining about you people that I feel like you're just not putting any effort into the content.
Yeah. I would like to go back to a time when, and I know hell's not going to freeze over anytime soon.
It's never happening. Yeah.
If we could go back to a time where a headline was a headline that was just giving me information to make me then want to go read the article as opposed to trying to lure me in, just what do you have to say that you can't tell me? I mean, even the way they write the articles, I think, is what irks me. It's like we said, they just contextualize and just
it's like
copy
they're
and
saying
paste
the
and
same
shit.
thing over and over again, just trying to word it a little differently to like add words, I guess, to make it longer.
To give you one teeny weeny little bit of information that you could probably go read on Twitter. You know, just a tweet will do. And thank you. Thank you
or
so
they
much.
told you in the headline.
Yeah.
And then they just said the same thing in the headline again at the very bottom of the article. And you're like,
Yeah. Why did
we
you
would
waste my
also
time?
like to know when this is going to happen. I'm like, but you said
You knew.
you did know. So what, you know, and then I guess it's like, and I know I'm not a good speaker, English, blah, blah, blah. People love to correct me all the time when I'm wrong. But like when I'm watching or reading those things and I can see that it's wrong, then I'm like, but I'm not paid to be a writer. You are. And you just said the same word a couple of times in a row and didn't notice, or You know, so it's like if it's really bad, like nobody did a pass for editing or anything, then I'm like, and I get it, but I'm not paid to be a writer.
Yeah, don't get me started on that. Oh, dear
Like,
God.
I know it gets under people's skin. I just think you shouldn't make fun of people's education levels. But anyway, that's my thing.
Hey, I think if you're going to try to have a respectable, reputable website.
Oh, if you're doing it as your profession, yes.
You should have somebody who knows how to spell check, grammar check, so you don't have these half-assed articles. Like, I won't even say names with this real quick, but there used to be a YouTube channel that I used to watch a lot of their videos, okay? I was a fan, enjoyed what they did. And I feel like here lately, I've seen the quality of those edits go down. Like so many little things where I see a bad edit, something that I wouldn't let pass or anything like that. I'm like, so what's happened? Like it just doesn't...
I don't think there's any quality control on any of this stuff anymore. It's just how much can we make, not the quality of it.
And it just irks me, you know?
Oh, totally. But I feel like that's all it is.
I just wouldn't let some of that stuff fly. And yet they're just like, doesn't matter. I was like, all right.
If you clicked on it and they made a couple of bucks, I think that's all that matters. Because I feel like if you go to like a lot of these sites that are habitual offenders, like it's just, there's so much. And so that's when you can tell it's like their job is just to keep pumping something. Kotaku, who just got like, I think a bunch of crap for that same thing, where it's just like, it's like 30 of them a day or some crap. I know I'm exaggerating, but it's just like, it's this, they're constantly throwing stuff out so quickly that a lot of it never even had time to be checked or anything. So then they're constantly having to like at the bottom edited to change, blah, blah, blah. But by then we've read the article. We're not going to come back to see did they make a correction, you know? But so I think they're a good example of where it's just like push out content. I don't care the quality.
What was the name of that YouTube? I knew it as a YouTube channel. They might have been more than that, but I can't remember. Machinima, I think it was the name of it.
I've heard of that.
Their asses were at the time one of the worst offenders of this clickbait bullshit, because I would click on their videos because they would be like big announcement, and then you would have somebody there for 3 minutes dragging shit on. It's like, get on with it, dude.
Yeah, let's go.
And then when he would announce whatever it was nothing. And it was like, I just watched this for you to tell me something, and you told me nothing.
But it was at least 10 minutes, so they could probably make ad dollars off of it.
It was about that time, like one of the times I really got duped into that. I got so fucking mad. I was like, you know what? Unsubscribe. Kiss my ass. I'm not dealing with this shit anymore because y'all are wasting my time.
Right. Yeah. It's not even entertaining.
No,
that
it's
you're
not.
lying to me, you know? I mean, if you're saying you're a satire source or something like that, that's a completely different thing. But a lot of them are, I don't know. Yeah, I just think we're just in that day and age where just people are just trying to farm as much content out anywhere to make an easy dollar, because we're not in a day and age where anybody wants quote unquote real jobs anymore. Like it's going to be interesting in like 10, 15, 20 years to see if anybody's even replacing the workforce, you know, and nobody can retire. So they're going to keep those jobs, and, you know, we're all just going to be stuck again. Those of us here in the middle, you know, get that fuck again, you know, but, yeah, I think that's just and nobody's learning anything. I thought my education was bad. I think these kids are getting it even worse than mine. I mean, maybe, possibly. Like, I at least was taught how to read a clock. That's all I'm going to say. But, you know, when I'm like, watch your 6, and these kids are like, what are you talking about? And I'm like, oh my God, drive at 10 and 2. I know it's not 10 and 2 anymore. But, you know, like all those sayings we used to do, it's like, I can't say that to a 19-year-old now.
Well, the fact that spelling seems to have disappeared from the curriculum just drives me mad.
See, is that true? Like, is it true though? Because, like, I mean, I don't have kids. Is it true?
My kid does not have a spelling class. I know that for a fact.
I was trying to remember. I don't think I had spelling, but it was with something else. Like, I don't know if it was like with English or was it on its own?
Well, if I found out that she was learning how to spell through the English class, I mean, that makes sense. Sure.
Is it?
But I mean, when I was a kid, it was a dedicated class. It was like, here is spelling
right.
class.
I'm trying to remember. I think that was because I used to actually be really, really good at it.
Oh yeah,
you know, like I think there was one
ace.
year I missed 2 out of 918 words or something like that, and now I'm like, I don't pay attention to it anymore either. I just type real fast and hit enter, and I never proofread anything. And then that's why I'm always having to correct every text I make. So I'm like, I should have watched, but I don't. And sometimes I don't care to correct it. I'm like, well, they get the gist of what I was trying to say,
I can't let it go. I have to edit.
Sometimes I do. A lot of the times I do, just because I know people get mad about it. I would leave a lot of stuff if I knew people would just shut their fucking mouth about it. There's a lot of people who like to harangue on it over and over. It's like, oh my God, I know, fine. So I'll edit it just so I don't have to listen to you anymore about it.
I personally don't care. I understand for other people, but me, I don't want to.
And that's fine for yourself.
The only time I'll even bring it up is if something in the sentence didn't make sense. I'm like,
and that's fair.
Yeah. You want to clarify that?
If we bumbled it so much where you're like, I don't even know what that means anymore, then it's just like, okay, that's fair. Let me try again,
Yeah.
But if it was just to be a dick, then I'm like, well, just fuck off. Yeah. Now you're just being an asshole about stuff or whatever. The only spelling one that really gets under my skin for whatever is when people say paid, like I paid you money, and it's PAYED, and it's so rampant that I'm not sure how it got started. And I was like, maybe it's not an English first thing. They don't speak English or is their first language or whatever. But I've seen it so much now. And even in TikTok videos where they have that stupid robotic woman who says every word that comes up and the text that'll pop up. It's also spelled PAYED. And I'm like, so I think that's what kids think it's spelled like now.
Probably.
And when I looked it up, it is a word, but it's something to do with a part of a boat.
Okay.
So it's not, it is a word. So I was like, okay. Actually,
there's a guy on TikTok. I don't know his name off the top of my head. I'd probably have to pull up my phone and look him up. But
Seal. The deck or hull seams of a wooden ship with pitch or tar to prevent leakage. So I doubt when I'm handing you money that I'm sealing your hull on a wooden ship and putting tar on your leak.
Sure. There's a guy on TikTok, and I feel like maybe I sent you one of his videos, but I'm not going to swear to that.
No, I don't know. I don't remember anyone's name, so.
I've sent a lot of his stuff, but he British maybe, or maybe somewhere in that cluster of the islands we were talking about before.
Yeah. They all got that little accent to it.
Because he's got that little accent that he does. And then he'll find all these random signs or, like you said, just memes, messages, or whatever, and he'll read them as they are. And then if he gets to that one word, like paid, he would probably take that and be like, what? And then twist it around and explain why that's wrong. Or what is incorrect about why this spelling is just... I don't know. I'll have to find you a video.
He's good at turning it into a funny content or whatever.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. But yeah, that's the only word for some reason to this day when I see it, or I'm like, oh, if someone would just tell them. If anyone, because that's probably why it's not getting auto corrected, because it's an actual word.
Yeah, that's true.
So if you're typing in PAYED, it's like, okay.
Yeah, sure, whatever. It's like, well, it looks right to me. That's how you spell it. And that's the other thing too. It's like they spell based on how it sounds. Yeah. Which I get, I understand, but that's what it's
gonna screw you up.
Sure.
When you say the word fight.
Mm-hmm.
Figget.
You want to figget me?
I got into a figget today, and they probably would just spell it FITE.
Sure. Yeah. It's like, that's right, ain't it? There's an I and a T and an E. That's all you need. You don't need them other letters in there. It don't make no sounds.
I mean, maybe it's just the evolution of language. Maybe this is just how it always is. Because we're definitely not speaking proper English anymore. If you're seeing from back in the day, 200, 300, 400 years ago or whatever. And it could be just how they wrote, but it was much different use of the language. And so when people speak proper English, nobody does. Nobody is speaking the quote unquote proper English from back in the day. Maybe it's just the evolution, and all of us complained about the one before it too, because even with making up all of these other words to mean the same thing for words that we already have, it's bothered me so much that I'm sitting back and I'm like, well, maybe that's just how it goes. That generation is going to come up with their own thing. What made a word in the first place?
Sure.
Somebody had to make it up and give it meaning. So why is it not a real word anymore? This is what I tell myself when I get angry at it. Because I probably would have done the same thing had I been 20 years old right now. because that's my life. That's what I live in, you know? But But outside of that, I'm not going to go out of my way to, because why?
Nah.
Now you've just pissed off that person. I didn't care enough in the first place, you know? It's like, it was a lot of effort for nothing. Sure. But anyway, I know we've deviated from the but it was all a thread of something we were talking about. You know? It was a natural evolution of our conversation. But.
Right on. Siblings, I'm sure that if you love, don't even say if you hate them. If you love them, I want to hear from you. I want to know why.
You get enjoyment, from being lied to and baited. What's that like?
Some sort of thrill about what am I going to find under this clickbait? Yeah, I clicked on it, baby. I'm in now. If you're one of these people, I don't want to call you anything negative. If you're one of these people who get a thrill out of clickbait,
really want to talk to you.
Yeah. Let us know. Let us know what it is that floats your boat.
Brings you joy. Yeah.
Do that on our social media platforms at Super Mega Crash. Or send us an email if you've got some kinkier things going on there. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, maybe not open it up that much. We might get some interesting stories.
Yeah, don't be too weird. supermegacrash@gmail.com. Support the show over on Patreon. Leave us a 5-star review on your favorite podcasting app. And keep up with any and all things over at pencilpaperproductions.com/supermegacrash. Links are in the show notes down below. Join us again next week, siblings. But until then, go beyond your limits and watch out for those clickbaits.
This has been a Pencil and Paper Podcast Network production.